Okay, people, so we have got The Witcher Sirens of the Deep, the new animated film in the Witcher series. It is directed by Kang Hei Chul, written by Mike Ostrowski and Rae Benjamin. The film is produced by Lauren Schmidt Hisrich. Executive produced by Jaroslaw Sawoku, Mike Ostrowski, Sean Daniel, Jason F. Brown, co-executive produced by Rae Benjamin and Kang Hei Chul, with associate production from Lee Song Wook and line production from Gu Un Choi. Joseph Trapanese took care of the music. Kim Gyeong Chung edits the piece. Wes Gleason took care of all the casting. Wes also did the voice direction. Visual effects were handled by Jaeyong Zhang. And our cast. Okay, so Geralt of Rivia is voiced by Doug Cockle. Jaskier is voiced by Joey Batey. Yennefer, voiced by Anya Chalotra. Essie Davan is voiced by Christina Wren. Shanaze is voiced by Emily Curry. Camrus Johnson voices Aglovol. His dad, King Oswald, is voiced by Simon Templeman. Celeste is voiced by Ray Choice. Melusina is voiced by Mallory Jansen. Cynthia McWilliams voices Queen Dahot. King Basim is voiced by Raymond Tikram. Zamara is voiced by Carrie Walgreen. Darua, voiced by Stephen Fu. Juhard, voiced by George Ackles. That's probably the main, right? The main lot. Oh, a young Essie is voiced by Valerie Rose Loam. So yes, I think that's... Oh, and a young Celeste is voiced by Greg Vinciguerra. Right, the gist of the story is: hired to probe seaside village attacks, mutant monster hunter Geralt of Rivia unravels an age-old conflict between humans and sea people that threatens war between kingdoms. Aided by allies, he must solve the mystery before hostilities escalate. Man, so I really enjoyed The Witcher, right? I enjoyed the books. And when Netflix were like, we're making a TV show, I was like, I'm there. And man, it's good. It's good. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like with Liam Hemsworth as Geralt. But, you know what I mean? The last 3 seasons, thoroughly enjoyed. Now, this is the second animated feature, right? And it is loosely based on A Little Sacrifice, a short story that Andrzej Sapkowski wrote. I don't remember the short story. Like, it's a long ass time ago that I read the books. So, yeah, I don't really remember the story, right? I think it was part of the Sword of Destiny book. I think that was the last book that came out. So, yeah, it's been a while. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how they translate. Now they did get a lot of the cast to do the voices, right? Yennefer, Jaskier, but not Geralt. Now, what they did with Geralt, they got Doug Cockle, who voices Geralt in the computer games. So I imagine if you play the games, you know, you might be happy about that. It does come off as a little odd, right? Because you've got people that you know from the Netflix, and then another, you know, because yeah, Henry Cavill sounds nothing like Doug, you know, so it is a little odd. Is a little odd. I think, like the animation is fine, right? All of that is fine. The story, the story, like I think you would probably enjoy this more if you haven't watched any of The Witcher, right? That's the problem. The problem with this is that we already have The Witcher. That's it, right? Because the story is nothing new. There's kind of Little Mermaid vibes going on with it. But with The Witcher, the main series, there's more nuance, right? You've got good and bad, but it's not just as, you know, hard-lined as it is really with this. You know, I think you can clearly see where it's going, which, you know, I think sometimes can just be a bit frustrating, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it's so obvious what's happening, you're just a bit like, okay, all right. And I think the TV series, it's not as it's not as frustrating, right? Just not as frustrating. Like the voices, as I said, we've got some of the people. Well, as I say, we got two of the people from the Netflix series, and that's all fine. But a thing that does happen sometimes with animated stuff is you don't necessarily get the emotional impact, right? It just feels like people reading lines rather than this visceral, you know, transformation. And I think that's a big thing because it's just like, I don't buy the love, right? I don't buy the anger. Like nothing is really jumping out at me here. You know, like, again, with the story, you have, I mean, you know where it's going, but also you have those moments where, right, something happens right at the very end, and it's just like, that shows the lot, and you're just like, no. If this was real, there ain't no happy endings, right? If this is real, the person is just walking away. Because that doesn't show. Those actions happened mad too late to be anything. But it does that thing that you find in anime. this is the thing, right? Man, I've tried so many animes, but I just can't necessarily get into them because it's just basic on the emotional impact. And that's what I found. And so with this, it is along those lines, right? You know, you have people, the weird kind of like, you know, shouting and, right, it just means nothing, right? The silly arguments, right? That you're just like, wait, wait, what is going on here? And that's what we find. So I think if you enjoy anime, Sirens of the Deep will probably work with you. You know, if you like Nightmare of the Wolf, you'll probably enjoy this. I thought Nightmare of the Wolf was probably better, but even that, you know, it was hampered by similar things. And that's the big problem, right? We have these great fight scenes in the TV show, and the fights, they come off more, I was going to say realistic, but when you're fighting a giant monster with multiple arms and legs, is that realistic? But you know what I mean? Like, when you look at the fight, you'd be like, oh, yes. Like, I can see it going that way or taking that amount of time. Or, yeah, he'd have to use his power to do that thing. Or, yeah, that was... But in this, because it's animation, you can just do anything. I think they make him go mad too long. They have him, like, being thrown around a lot. Right? In the TV show, you see Geralt get injured, right? Get battered. In this, he's bounced all off walls and ships and everything. And there's no limping. There's no, you know, bruising. It's just like, oh, okay, now I'm going to jump high and win and blah, blah, blah. So it just doesn't have the same impact. But as I said, if you haven't watched the TV series, this might be a completely different experience for you, right? Possibly if you play the computer games, and that's it. This could be a different experience because, you know, again, in computer games, you know, you're jumping all over the place. You're doing things that, you know, you're not necessarily going to be able to do in live action. So I do believe how you enjoy this is how you come to it. You know? For the most part, right? You could love the TV show and you could love this. Right? It's not a science with these things, but I feel for me, because of the TV show, this just doesn't connect with me as much, you know? But it's out there, right? And you might want to give it a look while waiting for season 4 to drop. So, The Witcher, Siren of the Deep. It's on Netflix, people. These are my thoughts. Now, let me know what you think, alright?